just wanna stay at the house right now. Touching on your booty, watch it bounce right now. Smoking up a check, got announced right now. Better to find yourself and just grow. Through all the clouds and the hills and the snow. The way that I think about you, you should know. I'm giving it up to you to stay down. Stay around. I just wanna stay at the house right now. Touching on your booty, watch it bounce right now. Smoking up a check, got announced right now.
In the Sky Podcast, on today's episode, we have Purple Elvis. Go ahead and give yourself a little bit of an introduction.
What's good, man? It's your boy Purple Elvis. I'm a psychedelic artist, so I'm all about the mind. Check my music out on all the Spotify, iTunes, Tidal. I got YouTube videos on a couple of my recent songs. I'm on SoundCloud as well. I just wrote a book on the mind. I'm a psych major, so I'm about to be releasing that. I'm also doing yoga tutorials online, and about to release a little vitamin, my own little vitamins, organic stuff.
Hell yeah.
So, yes, sir, man. That's about it, bro.
So, how old are you?
I'm 28.
28. And where are you from?
I'm from Atlanta, man. Atlanta, Georgia.
So what was your, what kind of environment did you grow up in, and what was kind of your specific upbringing?
Well, I grew up basically in Atlanta. You have different neighborhoods. So I grew up in a pretty good neighborhood. When I was born, well, my mom basically was taken in by a family that helped us out. So they had a huge house. I basically lived in a mansion in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? I made a lot of friends there. And then we moved to some apartments by 85 called the Cliffs. So that was just the hood. I was just chilling in some little apartments there with my dad and my mom. Then my dad left. We were just moving all over Atlanta, really. And then we settled in Norcross. I'm on the north side. Everybody knows this city, usually because Migos are from here, different rappers are from here, you know what I'm saying?
So how would you say, was it like a weird transition from like living in a mansion to just moving to some apartment complex?
Hell yeah, definitely. But when I was young, I didn't really care, I didn't really know what was going on. I was just moving back and forth. So I was happy regardless.
So once you moved to like, kind of the hood, were you more of a homebody or were you out in the shits?
Nah, hell nah. I was actually a really good boy. I was always chilling at the crib. I mean, there was always I always had friends around since my mom lived with different friends. So it wasn't until really I started getting in the streets till I was like, 14, 15. You know what I'm saying?
How'd that kind of come about? What kind of business were you in?
In the streets, I mean, nothing really. What I was doing was playing soccer in high school. So I was all about soccer. So I would go around, walking around, playing in different neighborhoods. I mean, I was smoking, so I was already, in that. And that comes with business. You know what I'm saying? So that's about it, man. I was usually in Jimmy Carter, Graves Road. These are just little hoods on the north side.
So, you say you're a psychedelic artist, but when I dabbled into your music a little bit, I can definitely kind of see some hip hop influences. And,
hell yeah.
When did you kind of start making music or dabbling into it, per se?
Yeah. My freshman year in high school, I put out some diss songs. On some dude on a different soccer team. So I was like, fuck this shit, I'm about to make a song. I bought some music software called Music Creator. And I was on a little computer. I use an Xbox mic. And Just did it on there. The music's still on MySpace, which is funny, and they got mad plays. But I went under a different name.
What was your name
So,
back then?
well, it was me and my boy. We were called the Creek Boys. But it was just a little diss song, just some dumb shit, and I used Lil B's "Got My Vans On" beat.
Lil B. That's how you know it's like just throwback as fuck.
Hell yeah! And I put it on MySpace and everything. It's still up there. I just leave it on there for for archives.
Yeah, definitely. So, when did you like? Was there ever really a point where you made it this song or whatever? Was there ever really a point where you started taking it serious?
Hell yeah! I made this song called what the fuck was that shit called? It was called I forgot what the hell it's called, but it'll be my first song on SoundCloud. You'll see it there. It doesn't have the most plays. It was actually taken down. Uh, I had it on a different page, and I had changed my name. I went as Elvie, just Elvie, about 3 years ago, and so I had made my new page, Purple Elvis. I just completed it, and then that song got put up, and it didn't have the traction that it did. But basically, I put the song out, and I had this white dude. I don't know if you've seen that white dude that created that floss dance.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, that motherfucker danced to the song, and that shit got mad plays. I was like, damn, what the fuck?
It was the Backpack Kid. Is that his name?
Yeah, that boy danced to the song.
That's
And
crazy. How do you think he found it?
he posted on the page. Oh, well, he contacted me, and he was like, "Yo, I'm gonna dance to your song. Just post me on your page." This was before he was coming up.
Damn.
Yeah,
He's based out of Atlanta too, right?
yeah, he's from my area. He's from this area.
Hell
He's
yeah.
he's from like, well, basically, you can have the hood right next to the fucking mansions around here. You know what I'm saying? In
Yeah.
this area, it's a.
That's definitely how it is where I'm from.
Oh, for real? Where you from, bro?
Louisville, Kentucky.
Mm,
It sounds country, but it ain't.
that's funny. My stepfather that my mother married to, he was from Kentucky.
Hell yeah.
Uh, yeah, so I learned a lot about Kentucky, and he was a real gambler, bro. Oh my God,
It's bad around here.
I heard.
Everybody's always like buying lottery tickets. And I'm like, like lottery tickets and gambling is a tax for the stupid poor people. Like that's all it is.
Facts. That's the quote for that shit.
Like literally. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like every now and then, if I got an extra $10 or $15, I'll buy a scratch off. But I'm not one of those people get off work and buy.
You know what I'm saying?
fucking
They
lottery
run to that
tickets.
place. Yeah.
It's crazy.
You heard about that YouTuber in New York that just won 187 million or something?
What? No. Who? What's his name?
I don't know his name. Some Hispanic YouTuber. I saw it on some Dominican page. I don't even know.
I like Dominican pages. One of them's like straight
Team
booze.
Oh yeah. I know straight. Hell yeah, bro.
That shit's funny. They're always I don't really look at it much anymore, but back when I looked at it, it was like when that what's his name? Fucking that boy fly or some shit like that. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about.
He was at the club guy. Yeah. That boy West Coast. That's his name. But yeah, that shit.
They do different stuff in Spanish and in English. Yeah.
It's just funny. Like Hispanics are the original ones. You know that one Pornhub ad is like, you really watching porn alone? It's like, no, I'm with my homies. Like so many people recreated that, but it was originally like in Spanish. Like Spanish people did that shit.
Are you serious? I thought it was created by this one puppet guy. This one puppet on Instagram. I don't even know.
Maybe, but That's where I saw it first.
Okay. Where you from, bro?
Me?
Yeah, are you? What's your nationality? Like, what's your race?
Oh, I'm white.
Okay. Okay.
um, I think my mother's like fucking 1/8 like Native American, but other than that, it's like a lot of people actually think my mom's Mexican.
She's brown.
Yeah, she's dark as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what kind of um, how did you go from like this guy who's passionate about soccer and was like making diss tracks and putting them on MySpace to someone who teaches yoga and does psychedelic music?
Oh man, that transition happened. Well, I left for college. I went to a small college in Delaware called Goldie Beacom. Nobody's probably fucking ever heard of it. But it is, it's an official school. You know what I'm saying? It's just a business school, and it's an international school where people from all over the world come in. It's not really people from Delaware go. And Delaware, there's no taxes in Delaware.
Really, I didn't
So
know that.
that's one of the reasons why I chose to go, because there's no taxes. So I definitely bought everything with no tax. The school was no tax. You can open businesses there and not pay LLC fees
Damn.
and corporation fees. Yeah. So since I had an address there, I was able to take advantage. But besides that, bro, I went to that school and I was a psychology major, and I needed basically one more year to graduate. And I had a child with my now wife. So at the time, I was just fucking. I was going in, bro, drinking sometimes 30 beers a night type shit.
God damn.
Smoking hella weed, doing mad psychedelics. I wasn't really doing anything like crack. I mean, I did try Molly a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? But not heroin.
Fuck that.
I might have did crack. I don't know.
No.
But at that time, yeah, it was just some crazy gnarly shit. And I had one experience where I was just like looking out to the sky and I saw like this purple sky. It looked like fucking Mario Kart, like the 64 one when you're in the circle racetrack. How the sky looked in that shit, that's how the sky looked. And from there, I called it the purple experience. I realized a lot of stuff that day. And I also realized that I always knew this. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Wait,
was just,
were you like tripping?
yeah, I was tripping hard as fuck.
Okay.
Yeah, that day, that was the first time I did acid.
Makes sense. Now continue. Sorry.
Hmm. So it was just me and my boys. We all took acid that day. Basically, it got kind of weird and we all separated. But we had never seen our true selves the first time. We sort of talked, and I don't know, it was just different. So, but later on we were able to laugh about it and everything was back to normal. But that was basically my first acid trip, where I got this idea of what you call the purple experience. No, what I call it. You can call it self-realization or awakening or samadhi.
Call it ego death.
Ego death, yeah, you can call it that.
Now, did you do shrooms before acid, or was acid your first psychedelic?
Acid was my first psychedelic.
Okay. Because I've actually done shrooms, and like that shit changed me forever, for the better. Like, swear to God, for the better, it changed me.
How old were you?
I want to say either 18 or 19. I'm only 20 right now, so probably.
Okay.
A year or two
Yeah.
ago.
what'd you experience?
Like, I don't know, like, I just realized, like, what the world was, and, like, that I need to have goals. Like, I wasn't content with my life. I didn't know that in order to do that and shit and actually have a good time, like, not necessarily a good time, because that's not why you should do shrooms at all. I
Facts.
learned that. But I just realized that, like, what the world was, like, how nothing really mattered. Like, it sounds cliche as fuck, but that we're literally all just little fucking specks on a big ass rock in space, that nothing means shit.
Exactly.
Like, it sounds so cliche for, like, a first trip to say that, but, like, I realized that, and it changed me. And I also realized that at that point in my life, like, I was going nowhere. I was going to be a loser if I kept on going on that track, bro. And I, like, fucking straightened up so quick and got some goals.
That shit does that to you, bro.
Yeah.
It's like life smacks you in the face. You're
It's
like, oh
good, though.
fuck.
I
It's good
fucking
as
love
fuck.
psychedelics. It's so good for you. Like, if you have the right people around, to
You're
not make
definitely
to make
correct,
sure
bro.
you don't
'Cause
hurt yourself.
some
Like,
people
that's
will
really,
fuck with you.
yeah,
Some
it's
people will
fucked up.
fuck with you too.
It's fucked up. Like,
So I basically had this friend in college named George. He was the youngest of the crew, and he came from Argentina. I had my friend that was from Brazil, Kenya, Antigua, and me from Atlanta, which is funny. So we all lived in this little spot, and where all this shit happened. But anyways, this guy George, he's from Argentina. He was the youngest. He was like 17, 18, teaching us so much about life. You know what I mean? I was like, what the fuck? Like, what are you on, bro? You know, because I was this psychology major, so I thought I had it type shit. You know what I mean? I tried to understand reality, but I was still saving the ego, which is what psychiatry and psychology does. Kind of protects you. You know, you could be whoever you are, even if you're making all these dumbass mistakes type shit,
yeah,
and you can pass the buck to your parents. It's like it's their fault. You know what I mean?
that's what a lot of people do. I hate that.
Yeah, you don't have to take responsibility, and I just don't think it's fair for the patient. You know, whereas as a yoga teacher, you can tell them straight up. um, but he taught me so much about it, and he was just like, bro, just try it. And he was my first. He was my first. Okay, so this was actually my first experience with LSD. The other one was the first, you know, the first what I thought the purple experience. This was my actual first experience. It was with him. Um, Damn, that's what a flashback. Yeah, but he put me onto a lot of stuff, and I give him credit to that.
So I think that it's crazy that Native Americans and shit used to
Hmm.
use that to take boys and turn them into men. Like, it really does make fucking sense.
People still do it in Africa, bro. And in Guatemala, like where my mom's from. My great grandmother used salvia to help women have kids, or to help people that are having, you know, crazy issues. I don't know what the fuck she did. She was some type of herb doctor. You know what I'm saying?
Witch doctor type shit, yeah.
Yeah, well, my mom's from Guatemala, uh, and my dad's from, well, his mom's from the Cayman Islands, and his dad's from Honduras. He was born in a small island called Roatan next to Honduras. It's so dope if you want to travel, bro. You can buy like a piece of land for 3,000.
I bet. A
You know what I'm
little fucking
saying?
island for fucking 10 racks.
Hell yeah.
Well, have you ever heard of Kentucky ayahuasca?
I never heard of that. What is that?
Is basically like, I don't know exactly what's in it, but it has stuff that'll make you trip out. And there's this guy, I don't know exactly where it is in Kentucky, but it's somewhere a little bit north where I live now, because I don't live in Louisville. But this guy, he will take people in, someone who's having some sort of family, like
Bro, I
due to
I
family
think I
issues.
think I know what you're talking about. It's this bald white guy.
Yes, yes, exactly.
I know what you're talking about. And he's like converting Christians and shit. Or maybe he is Christian. One of those.
Not necessarily. What he'll do is like he'll have like a weekend, and like one night they'll do X amount of dosage, and then the next night they'll do double that dosage. And what he'll do is just basically give them therapy and kind of bring those demons out of the people. And it really works, like ex heroin addicts and shit like that. Like
Yeah.
it's fucking crazy.
That's awesome, bro. I actually had a little bit of shroomies right here. But I haven't been on that recently. I had one experience that just shook me, I guess you could say. And this is just my ego talking, I guess. Because it's a little fear. But I did have a crazy experience. I don't even have words for that one.
What kind of was running through your mind, if you can imagine?
All right. I'll just walk you through it, how I would walk somebody that wanted to experience it if they close their eyes, you know. So I was basically, everything was running through my mind, anything that was possible. And I thought that people wanted to kill me at this particular moment, which is the first time I ever thought something weird. Like not necessarily different. Like, I mean, I've thought about like aliens, just different stuff. But I'm talking about like something I don't think I would ever do. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, hold on. Or, I started thinking about, hell, I'm about to kill that motherfucker, then he's about to kill me. And just a whole bunch of a wide variety of feelings I've never felt. And I felt like I had always pushed those demons off of me and different shit. And I just felt like running away. I just felt like somebody was watching me. So I ran, and what's crazy is a cop saw me as soon as I was running, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm just watching the trees." And like, I looked up at the trees, and it looked like they were protecting me. That shit was crazy. And he was like, "Okay, have a great day," but it looked fake as fuck. I felt like I summoned that motherfucker, and it woke me up. I was like, "Oh shit, what am I doing? I'm running away."
So you just got up and ran out the house.
And I just I went back into the crib, and I realized we're all bad, we're all good, and it's not about the decisions we make that make us bad or anything that makes us good. It's just the preconceptions that we have, and whole bunch of shit. I saw demons, I saw angels that day. This one was just crazy. And after that, I was just like, you know what? I'm done. So it's been some time. I've just been talking about it, really. I don't want to dabble that much anymore.
Not ready again.
I mean, during that process, I tried some salvia too. The 10x. You ever heard of that?
No. What is it?
You can YouTube it. It's this one little plant. But basically, it always takes you into one direction. You'll always hear this from people that have smoked it or have experience. It takes you into one direction. You feel like you're being pulled somewhere, and then it like you end up being. If you close your eyes, you just go into this portal. I don't know. It's some crazy shit, but you don't remember any of it, and you can't talk about it after. You know what I mean?
Damn, that's fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So enough about psychedelics, because we could talk about that for fun.
Yes, sir. You ain't never lie.
So what are kind of your aspirations in your career, like as far as musically? Where do you want to take it?
Well, I definitely want to help people mentally. That's always been my dream. I felt like since I was little, I've always helped people. For example, my father suffered from panic attacks. So I was always the one that had to deal with them. You know what I'm saying?
So like kind of tell him everything was okay.
Exactly. I was the one caressing him, like, yo, you straight. He had a really bad drug problem. But when I say drugs, I say like heroin and crack. You know what I'm
Fucked up
saying?
shit. Yeah.
That's what can lead you down a negative spiral. I mean, lean can do that to you too, and Zans. Uh, so I was the one that had to deal with a lot of that crap. And now I see why people have panic attacks. I understood what I was doing. And I actually worked in a school as a para teacher, like for mental retardation. And I was the one watching the kids that had panic attacks, on special watch, things like that.
That's dope for real. I
Yeah,
respect that.
so that's what I want to do. I mean, ultimately, just help people, and provide a service to the universe. You know what I'm saying? Do something positive, man. But besides that, I want to also be myself. You know what I'm saying? Create the music that I want to make and inspire people to do whatever the fuck they want to do. You can do whatever you want to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
For
that's
example, I
facts.
got a couple friends that are artists and psychologists, and they have like this thing going on called the stress gods. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you ever heard of them. We got like different um, fitness and artist fusion. You know what I'm saying? Like my boy Kid Plot. I don't know if you heard of him. It's just different Atlanta people. Uh, but I just feel like everybody should just do whatever the fuck they want to do. You know what I'm saying?
At the end of the day, like, don't try to make someone else happy because it'll just make you miserable at the end.
Exactly, bro.
Like some,
And I don't know if you experienced the same thing, but this battle between building a business and school.
fuck
You know what I'm
school,
saying?
fuck school, man.
Exactly. And I almost graduated, bro. I almost graduated, and still it was fuck school. You know what I'm saying?
See, like a lot of people my age are like going to school or some shit like that, or like want to go to school. I'm like, I'm not even gonna do that. Like, I've got shit figured out in my head so much, but it's to the point where I don't know anything.
Exactly.
Like, so many people my age fail to realize that you do not know shit. Nobody knows shit. It's like
Exactly,
just
bro.
all in front of you. I don't know.
Facts.
I don't know.
No, that's facts. Nobody knows shit, and if somebody tries to tell you that they think they know, they definitely wrong.
Yeah, yeah. Those are the people like, for instance, like someone at work, like they will like you don't know somebody until they actually start talking to you, and like some people I meet and encounter will just like lie, and like just to say like just to be cool, like why lie?
Facts.
It's so
You're definitely
stupid.
right, bro. You're definitely right. Yeah, I feel like people try to make vocal commitments to or social commitments to themselves.
Yes, and to other people.
Yeah, and that's cool. I can be one of your social commitments, but it's kind of fucked up that you're lying to me.
Yeah,
And then they end up doing whatever they said they already did, you know, and that's cool. That means that you gotta also say things and put it out into the universe. Just don't lie, bro.
to be honest, like before I started my podcast, like I did not tell a soul, didn't tell any of my friends besides my cousin, because he is like my biggest inspiration, because he's out doing his own thing too, and
Hmm.
I just figured I'd tell him and like kind of talk to him about it. And you know what he told me? Figure
What
it
is
out
it, bro?
on your own. Figure it out on your own. That's exactly what I did.
That's awesome, bro.
Because any other friend would be like, oh yeah, yeah. But figuring out on your own is the fucking key.
That's facts, bro. I had a little, I had a little podcast going. It was called Beef Stew. You can actually still look it up. I had it on Facebook. I was doing like a live stream type of podcast. Uh, and Beef Stew was just a mixture of everything. We talked about everything, bro.
Like beef stew, everything's in it.
Exactly.
I fuck with that. That's cool.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I don't feel like um, I'm just doing one thing. I'm doing a lot of things. I'm not trying to do just music, but I am building one brand that means one thing. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And my music is definitely gonna symbolize it all.
Hell yeah. So, what would you say, or not, what would you say, but how did you get your name Purple Elvis?
Okay, so I always talked about this purple experience to people,
Yeah.
and I had this office job about I don't know, it's about 2, 3 years ago that I quit that job, and I was just sitting there, bro, and I worked there for 3 years, just sitting on my ass. I realized a lot of things sitting there. I did a lot of research. I wrote a book sitting there. That's how boring and basically that's how these businesses aren't really patrolling you. You know what I'm saying? But basically, I had this African friend named Lauren that was sitting next to me, and I always talked to him about this purple experience, and he was just like, "Bro, just call yourself Purple Elvis." And then I went home, I sat on it, I smoked one, I was like, hell yeah. So that's when I changed all my shit to Purple Elvis. It was because it was under Elvie,
So,
and
is your
then
actual name Elvis?
it is Elvis.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah. My grandma was a super Elvis fan and named my father Elvis, and then it got passed on.
Hell yeah. Mexican guy named Elvis. You don't see that a lot. You don't, man. You don't.
That's funny. Yo, Elvis, where is he from?
Tennessee.
Tennessee, huh?
It's weird. Why the fuck do I know that? I knew that
That's
right after
crazy.
that.
Hell yeah.
So, before we wrap it up, are there any like messages you want to put out to the audience or anybody listening?
Definitely, man. I just want everybody to realize that now is the only time, and that you don't need psychedelics to realize that. You don't need any of that. All you need to do is just drop all the concepts you have in your head. If you think you got to figure it out, go ahead and drop that too, and drop your ego, and everything will be all right. You know what I'm saying? Take some deep breaths, and you'll be straight.
Any
That's
shout outs you want to give to anybody?
Man, shout out to Awkward, my producer. That boy's been doing all my videos on YouTube. You know, he's been producing all my music. Uh, Also, my boys, you know, Tommy, Bville. These are just boys that we all make music together. We hit the studio together. My family. I got 2 kids, one coming.
Congratulations.
Yeah, man. My mom, you know, the world, the universe, everybody. Let's get it.
Hell yeah. Hell fucking yeah. Thank you for this to In the Sky podcast, and thank you so much, Purple Elvis, for coming on here and having some meaningful conversations. Really inspiring.
I appreciate you, homie. You real as fuck.